So we have a guest speaker tonight, and his name is Brad. He's going to be hopping on at 8:15 because there are a couple things I wanted to go over with y'all before he comes on. I'm going to get my notes up so that I don't forget anything. No. Okay. So first things first, we have a sneak peek on our calendar for Thursday. And if you are on Holly or Krista's team, y'all tried this out last month, an Instagram sneak peek. And I am trying it this month for my downline coaches. What I have done is made, y'all might have seen Ashley post in the Inspiration Crew page today, just like a duplicatable format that you can use. Oh gosh, my computer's gonna beep all night. To make your own. If you are a diamond leader, if you're any kind of coach, I really encourage you to make your own using the format. But for this first one, if you are in my downline, you are welcome to invite people to mine. I do not have it all set up yet, but it is Heartstrong Sneak. No. Oh, gosh. Now I don't remember what the Instagram handle is. I'll put it in this recording. I think it's Heartstrong Sneak Peek. So you have to request to be added. And I'm going to open it and start accepting people into it on Thursday. But this is really something, and I'm going to screen share now so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. But, okay. Well, where'd it go? So that you guys can see the resources. I'm showing you exactly where these are. So those of you who aren't very familiar with the Google Drive, why is it not coming up? Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's the Google Drive. And here is our team drive, right? So I'm going to click on our team drive. You should all have access to this. And then here's a folder that I made, and it's called Instagram Sneak Peek. You open it. Oh my gosh, my computer is being so slow. Okay, these are a couple of videos on how to split like graphics and stuff. This is a copy of Ashley's. Hers was a little bit too much for me, and so I kind of squished some down because that's what I liked. So if you, I don't want to do that. Do you know why our internet's super slow right now? Okay, so if you're in here, this is how you make a copy. So if you want to do this for you, pay attention. You're going to double click, like right click, and you're going to click make a copy. And it makes a copy for you. Maybe eventually. Okay. So here it is, that copy that I just made. Now I'm going to click it and I'm going to rename it. I want to rename it Krista's Sneak Peek as I see her. And then I'm going to move Krista's Sneak Peek. I'm going to say move to, move to, and you can go back out of these folders. You're going to move it to wherever you want to move it in your drive. Maybe you're going to make a new folder, whatever. I don't care. But do not edit stuff in this drive. You make a copy and then you move it. Okay, so that's the Instagram sneak peek. It'll make a lot more sense once you're able to look at the group on Instagram and also look at what the content is in my sneak peek. But I want you guys to be inviting to that, working on yours as well. So it's almost like the idea behind it is there's always a page there that you can send people to that are interested in coaching. And the reason I did this is because I would have people that I'd move over to the Facebook sneak peek and they'd never go through it, or they got through half of the webinar. Even though the webinar was more successful than my Facebook sneak peek, I had a lot of people that only got through half. So this is where they can go, they can read posts. It's very condensed, and I'm hoping it has greater success. Okay, next thing real quick, if you go into our drive and go to 2019 and program launches, is Morning Meltdown. So I wanted to go over this real quick. Coaches get to purchase July 1st. And if you purchase during the coach window, July 1st through the 15th, you get access to 10 workouts already. Customers can start buying on July 16th, and the workouts come out, I believe, on the 26th or 27th. Maybe it's the 29th. Somewhere in there. And that's when we are going to start a test group for this program. Diamonds will probably be doing theirs, or we can pair up. We'll figure out how we're going to divide that, but we will be doing test groups. A lot of you guys are new coaches, so you're like, what the heck is a test group? It's basically where we're all in a challenge group and we're all doing this new program. So anyone that purchases this new program gets to go into a group where we're all doing it together, where everything is focused on that program. And so that is good for your past customers who might want to purchase to, get the early access, or new customers. Anyone that purchased a challenge pack in June this month, they're not screwed out. Like, they're not going to be like, oh, you got to buy a whole nother one in July. They're going to get a promo code for $10 to $20 off, depending on what package they choose, where they can get this program for pretty cheap. So that's awesome. Otherwise, it doesn't come on bod until October 1st. Okay, so real quick, I want to go over these graphics. And there's a couple in here that you can use depending on kind of which one you like. So this is for people who have never signed up. And I'm not going to go over these in huge detail because you can look at it and figure it out. But the basic over here is it tells you everything that's included. So these are like graphics that I like to send to people. Hey, here's your options. Which one do you want? I recommend the one in the middle because whatever. Or, I recommend if they're saying they really need like a reset, refresh, restart, they can go to the 330 one, and that has a 3-day refresh or whatever. So this includes the basic over here, includes early access to Morning Meltdown and a full year of bod, and either Shakeology or Energize and Recover. It's going to give them a shaker cup, the dry erase calendar for Morning Meltdown, the B100 book, and a nutrition guide. Okay. The deluxe is the same as that, but you're going to get Shakeology and Energize or Recover. And then the Jericho package is the one that like Jericho kind of endorses, and that's going to include Power Greens and Shakeology and Energize and Recover. And then you can see the mega is all of that plus beach bars and a 3-day refresh. Okay, so this is all for new customers. You can look through that. You can go to the Beachbody Champions page and watch a training video. You should do it. These are completion packs. So these are for people that maybe have bod already, but they want early access and they need Shakeology again, or they need Energize and Recover to get into your group. So you can look, these are for people, completion packs are for people that already have bod. Okay, they already have bod. They're purchasing early access and then Shakeology or Energize and Recover or both or greens or whatever the package is. Okay, got it. Good. For coaches, I don't have the graphic up, but I believe the base package for coaches is, someone correct me if I'm wrong, 50 is like the program and the program materials. And that might not, I don't even remember. I'm sorry. I'll have to re-find out after this call, but I will give you guys exact numbers on if that's with the coach discount or not. I can't remember. And then the last thing is, if you're going to Summit, make sure you download the Team Beachbody Events app so that you can kind of figure out like what's the Summit schedule going on. I want to go back to Morning Meltdown real quick. So I know there's a lot of new coaches on our team, and so you're probably like freaking out about a launch. Hey, it's Megan. Welcome back. I know you're probably freaking out about like a launch. Oh my gosh, what do we do? Don't worry. I will walk you through like the steps. Your job right now is to be sharing about that you're excited for a new program. Be sharing that there are spots open. Be sharing that you can't wait to, look at my Insta stories today to kind of give you like an idea of how you can share. But your job is going to be talking to your current customers about it first, and then July 15th is when others can purchase. All right? We're going to do a team-wide test group. Don't worry. You don't have to figure this out on your own. We will split into smaller groups so that we don't have this huge accountability group, and you will not have to figure this out on your own. Okay? So just put your mind at ease. There's a test group for the people that get this new program. Everyone in that group will be doing Morning Meltdown. Got it? I have done a couple of the workouts, and it's really, really awesome. I'm excited. And if you were on the cruise, you did some too. Hopefully we'll get to do some at Summit, and it's going to be awesome. Okay, so Brad is here now, and he is here to talk to us for our team call tonight, and he's awesome. Some of you guys have heard him before. We got to hop on a call that the Inspiration crew did, if you were here for that, and he rocked it. And so I'm excited for him to talk about something totally different this time on our team call. So Brad, take it away.
Can you guys hear me? Is that coming through? Give me a thumbs up. Awesome, awesome, awesome. What is going on, everyone? Thank you so much for the privilege of being here tonight and talking to you. I am so freaking excited to chat about this. By a show of hands, how many of you guys were on that other call that I did, just so I know? Okay, a bunch of you guys were on that other call. Awesome, fantastic. Promise tonight is going to be different content, and go back and listen to that whenever you get a chance. It's going to be super, super helpful about reversing that negative self-talk. But I want you to know that tonight I don't take your time for granted. This time is something you can't get back. So my promise to you is that I am not going to betray your trust. Tonight is all about using the pain of your past to create greatness. That's what tonight is all about. So before we get rock and roll, and to get the most out of this experience together, silence your phones, turn your Instagram stories off, whatever you got to do just to be fully present in this next 45 minutes. And I promise it will be worth your time. And just so I make sure that I'm giving you guys the right content, the Inspiration crew, if you guys could type in the chat box which leader's call that was, just so I know I'm giving you guys different content tonight, not the same stuff, that would be super duper helpful. And I want to just make sure that I'm not losing my mind over here. But Ashley Smith, amazing. Ashley's amazing. Ashley's so cool. So let's dive in. And I want to share a story with you guys about how I started off on my success journey. And there's a reason for sharing this, because I didn't think it was fair to start off where I was. I had a lot of blame, a lot of anger, a lot of resentment. And so I have a reason for sharing this story with you, to show you what resentment built up and what I used to blame in my life. And the reason I share that is because I learned some strategies and skills just to switch that around, to use it as a tool for empowerment to achieve the dreams that I had. So I have a reason for sharing this with you, and see where you can relate through this. So when I was a kid, my childhood wasn't very fun at home, and I was embarrassed to have kids over because I didn't know how mom was going to be around them. I didn't know what it was going to be like. I was actually ashamed of my family growing up. Like a few things really triggered that, specifically surrounding my mom. And so by the way, I love my mom. This is not a let's shit talk about Brad's mom call. That's not my goal today. But I've gotten through that stuff, and it took a lot of time. I had to learn how to forgive her. I had to learn how to change the meaning of different challenges in my past. because those things, those painful things happened consistently and still do today. So when I was growing up, and type yes if you can relate to this in any way, shape, or form. By the way, how many of you have a relationship with a family member that you kind of feel is turbulent or hard to deal with in some way, shape, or form? Type yes if that's you. If you have a family member that's really tough to deal with in some way. So, okay, so that was something that I dealt with too. When I was growing up, I never knew which version of mom I was going to get. I never knew if I was going to get the narcissistic version, this is what's going on in my life and why my life problems are worse than yours version. I didn't know if I was going to get the version where she was very controlling. I didn't know if I was going to get the embarrassing version where she would talk crap about my brother and I to our friends, right? I didn't know if I was going to get the scarcity mindset version where she always talked about people with money in a negative light. And the hardest part was I never knew who I had to be to feel worthy of her love. Right? That was probably the toughest version to deal with, the you're not worthy of my love version. I never knew who I had to be around her. And every once in a while, I'd get the whole, hey, sweetie, how's your day version, right? But that didn't last very long. And it changed minute to minute. It still does. It was like walking on eggshells. I would literally change who I was to appease someone else's pain. I was changing who I was just to feel loved, and it sucked. And on top of that, I remember seeing my parents scream and fight and yell about money. It was every day. And that's not hyperbole for this call. It was every day. How many of you guys have had some sort of financial challenge in the past growing up that you dealt with? That was something that I dealt with in my life. I remember seeing my parents fight and scream and yell every day growing up. And I remember taking out $40,000 of student loans to go to college. I needed to take out $40,000 more of student loans to go to college, but $40,000 was saved up by my grandmother for me. It was saved up by my grandmother in this account that she would give to us when we went to school. And so when I got to school, I found out that money was stolen. It was taken. It was completely gone. And so it set me almost 6 figures in debt. And I remember having so much blame around that, thinking that my financial situation was because of my parents using that money for poor spending habits or just other stuff that I didn't even know what they used it on, but it was completely gone, my brother's and my accounts. And so that was really tough. And I remember it sucked. I remember hating seeing that just that anger around money. And I remember thinking that money caused pain. It caused fighting. And I didn't like going back to Chicago because it meant that I would have to see my family. And I hated holidays. I hated birthdays. And my mom would even ghost us on Christmas, totally disappear on Christmas. And I remember getting emotional about that to my wife, thinking why doesn't mom love me? What did I do wrong? So it hurts to see that, right? It hurts to see that deterioration of a person. It hurts when love is used as a weapon, and I hated it. I hated the pain. I hated my past, and I was angry, and I had a lot of blame, thinking it wasn't fair to be where I was. It wasn't fair to have this just this hand of cards dealt to me, and that's how I started my success journey. And I remember I made myself a promise growing up that I'd never be like that I wouldn't waste my life away, that I'd create something amazing that provided an incredible life so I didn't have to end up with that same type of lifestyle my parents had. And I set out on a journey to do it, and I failed. Epically failed. First job out of school, I remember partying 3 or 4 nights a week. Even though I was making good money as a 22-year-old kid, there was always too much month at the end of the money. How many of you guys have ever been able to relate to that? Too much month at the end of the money. That's what I was dealing with. I was just skating by. Bank account was always overdrafting. And then I found Beachbody. For those of you guys that don't know, I was a Beachbody coach for 5 years. I love everything about Beachbody. This is my way of giving back to the company that led me to what I'm truly meant to do with my life, which is help people master their mindset. And it's a conflict of interest to do both, so I can't do both. And that's why I'm not. Otherwise, I totally would be. But Beachbody is what I found when I was in that spot, and it saved me. It saved me from tail spinning down into this pit of mediocrity that I feared so much. It exposed me to hope. It exposed me to what was possible. It exposed me to living a life of love and generosity and abundance. And it showed me what was possible. And I got really, really excited about what I was going to create with my Beachbody business. I got so excited about what I was going to create. But every time I tried to make it work, it didn't work. It was like I was chasing a ghost. It was 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and I always just felt stuck. I would remember, to my social media, I would pretend that I had all this success. I would try to prove my business. I pretended I had a great business, and I'd sneak my way into successful groups of coaches' lives or these different mastermind groups or whatever it is, just because having one single ounce of validation from someone in my life made me feel incredible. It made me feel accepted. Like, and that's what I craved the most, acceptance. So I was willing to change who I was to be around them. But even though I was around these successful people, I was just stuck. I was stuck. My business was not growing no matter how many invites I sent out or social media posts I put up. How many of you feel stuck? Not just in your business, but in some part of your life, any part of your life. How many of you feel stuck? Type yes if that's you, whether it's marriage, bank account, business, anything. That's where I was. I was stuck. And I had no idea what was holding me back. And I remember I would need a team call to get motivated, just like this. And I would get hyped up for a couple days and I get really excited. Have you ever noticed that happens sometimes where you get off a team call and you're really pumped up for a couple of days and then it just goes back to the way it was? You ever notice that? We need to change that tonight. And that's what I'm going to give you an opportunity to do. And I remember after I'd get hyped up from a call, I would message my coach and be like, I sent out 50 invites, basically begging her to validate me and tell me I did a great job. And all of those invites totally ghosted. Like, you know, on your Facebook Messenger where it says seen at 5:02 p.m. or what it used to say that, now it just says seen. But like that's what happened to all of my invites. And so then when I would look at my to-do list of all the things that it would take for me to be a successful business owner, it overwhelmed me. And I'd shut down. If I got everything done, I felt like I wasn't doing enough because I'd have to do it again tomorrow. If I got nothing done, I'd be overwhelmed and get down on myself. And if I did some of this stuff, I still felt like I wasn't making progress. How many of you guys have to-do list paralysis where no matter if you complete it or not, you still feel unfulfilled in some way, right? It was like fighting a ghost. It was like this perfection and guilt loop where if I didn't get it done, I was kicking myself and I get into these bouts of depression on the couch where I'd find myself watching Friends or New Girl or Breaking Bad or whatever it is, like 4 days a week, wanting life to change so badly, but not getting myself to do it. Like I couldn't get myself to act. I couldn't find the drive. My laptop was literally staring at me going, dude, change your life, right? You have all the tools you need, just like you guys. You have all the tools you need to change your life. But I couldn't get myself to act. I just didn't care in the moment, but I cared so much. And even though I was in those down states and those depressed states, not if this makes sense, I was pissed off at myself for being depressed. I was pissed off at myself for being less than I could be. I was pissed off at myself for living in mediocrity when I knew I was meant for more. How many of you guys know that you're meant for so much more than what you're settling for right now? How many of you know that in your heart that you are meant to do big things, but for some reason there's this like these chains around your ankles? And that's what I felt in my past, stuck. And I had no idea how to break through it. I just expected that things would work out. But even if I'd hit Success Club, nothing happened. Nothing happened. I just felt stuck. And now, and the reason I share that with you is because if you fast forward to now, 7 years later, life is truly amazing. It's flooded with abundance and amazing opportunities and amazing people and a thriving business and financial opportunity. And most importantly, I'm actually happy. I'm actually happy on a regular basis. And I don't share that to impress you. I say that to impress upon you that if you have crap you're dealing with, you can break through this too. You can get unstuck, and I am living proof of that. And I'll talk about it at the end, just so you guys know. I'll give you an opportunity to work with me on a course that will help you break through everything holding you back in detail. That program is how I changed my life. That's how I got unstuck. But first, we need a paradigm shift if that is ever going to happen. So let's start out with some takeaways for tonight that you can use to master this stuff, to master what holds you back in some way. And I'm going to be totally honest with you, we're going to get deep. We're going to get totally deep. So write this in your notes, put it in bold, and live this. Biography is not destiny. Biography is not destiny. What does that mean? So I want to start off by saying something very boldly, very directly. Whatever your past is, whatever you have gone through, no matter what experiences you've had, it does not dictate the future of your life. It doesn't matter in terms of your ability to have success. It does not matter if you've been in business for a week, a year, and haven't made a dime. It doesn't matter if you had an emotionally traumatizing childhood. It doesn't matter if you had a physically abusive childhood, or if you were addicted to drugs or alcohol, or if you've been to jail, or if you were sexually assaulted, or if you had problems with money. All that stuff plays a role in your life. But let me tell you loud and clear, it does not dictate your future. It does not. But those things can provide extremely valuable lessons on how to pursue your life. And that's what this call is about. Using those painful moments in our past to create greatness in our future. Every situation you face, every situation is a blessing. Whether it was painful or not, every situation you face is a great thing for your future. So put this in your notes. Every person in your life is an example or a warning. Every person in your life is an example or a warning. And we kind of logically know that, right? Like if you're turned off by someone, you don't want to be around them anymore. It's kind of like intuitive. We know that already, but we've used these people in our past to blame them for why we can't be successful. Have you ever noticed that? There's some blame behind someone in our lives or some event in our lives for why we are where we are. So how have you used your past to limit you? What have you taken a look at in your past and said, no, I can't achieve that because I don't know enough people? That would be a minimal example. Or a more severe example, I don't know, or I can't build a business because it's not fair that I'm in this situation. Or I have depression, so I can't build a business, or whatever it is, right? How have you used your previous challenges to limit you in your life? So, and let's get a little bit lighter here for a second. Type yes if you have ever set less ambitious goals for your future because you haven't been able to achieve goals in the past. Have you ever done that? Set less ambitious goals for your future because you haven't been able to achieve other goals in the past. We need to break through that. How many of you guys have used your financial situation as a reason as to why you can't break through? Why you can't get to Summit? Why you can't go to that seminar, invest in that course? That is a limiting belief. We need to break through that. We need to find a way. And the way that we break through this is by changing what the past means to us. So your life is made up of events and the meaning you give to each event. That's what your life is made up of, events and the meaning you give to each event. So for example, if a man opens a door for a woman and she's really, really excited about it, why? Is it because he opened the door? Or was it because of her interpretation of what that gesture means? It was because of what she interpreted it to mean. Because that dude can open that same door for that same woman, and she can be like, dude, I can get it myself, you pig. I don't need you. Right? Like the event didn't change. The interpretation of the event is what changed. So look at the biggest limitation in your life. Is it mommy issues? Is it daddy issues? Is it money issues? Is it relationship issues? Is it a past failure that you've gone through? What baggage are you using as a way out? What baggage are you giving a disempowering meaning to without even realizing it? Right? Blaming something like the amount of money you have for why you can't succeed. Blaming your spouse and their support for why you can't succeed. Blaming what you went through, whether it was an abuse or an assault or whatever, for why you can't succeed. So the reason I say that is because your life will change the moment you put intentionality behind the meaning of everything. Your life will change the moment you put intentionality behind the meaning of everything. So I changed what my mommy issues meant to me. I stopped blaming her for why I was so damn stuck, and I opened up my heart again. So for example, how many of you guys have ever been through pain and you've closed up your heart because it doesn't feel good and you're afraid that you're going to experience pain again? This can be in a relationship. This could be going all out in business. This can be anything. How many of you guys have closed your heart because of that? Here's the thing, though, that they don't tell you when you do that. If you close your heart to keep out the pain, what's actually happening is that you're keeping out all of the good and you're trapping the pain inside of you. That's what you're doing. You're trapping the pain inside of you. And that's why it's so hard to break through. That avoidance strategy, it's a great short-term strategy for pain, but it's a long-term strategy for misery. That's how you end up using sarcastic humor as a defense mechanism 2 years down the road. That's how you end up in 5 years wishing your life was different, but you're not there. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about? How many of you guys know what I'm talking about kind of intimately? Like you do that yourself sometimes, right? So it keeps out all the good. So what do you blame, or who do you blame for why your life is the way it is? Just go with your gut. Don't overthink it, right? It might be weighing on you right now. It might be weighing on you when I said my story earlier. But what do you just kind of feel is holding you back? Is it money? Is it a belief you have about yourself? Whatever it is. Like when I started this process, I just kind of had a gut feeling it had to do with my mom in some way. It was just a gut feeling, right? But what do you kind of just feel might be holding you back? And the way to break through this is through an exercise that I absolutely love in the life coaching community called conscious blaming. Conscious blaming. It is so powerful. And if you use this, you can change your entire future. So, and take a look at that painful situation. By a show of hands, how many of you have kind of an idea of what you blame or who you blame or some reason why you can't be successful? Raise your hand if you have that. Okay, just so I know I'm not crazy. Everyone has something that they blame. So take a look at that person or that situation or that past failure or whatever you're afraid of. And think of all the anger, the resentment, the pain, the scarcity mindset, whatever it is that came from it. Think of that and just put yourself in a state of feeling that right now, right? And it shouldn't take that long to get into that state because this is something we practice regularly. So put yourself into that state right now, just focusing on why it sucked. Focus on why it hurt. Focus on why it was so bad. Focus on how it wasn't fair to you. Focus on that. And what feelings do you have right now from focusing on that? It does not feel good, does it? And I mean, this is supposed to be a positive thinking call. Trust me, it will be. But it doesn't feel very good to think about that, right? It doesn't feel good. It hurts to think about that stuff. But I'm curious. Instead of blaming your past, what if you thanked your past? You might want to put that one in your notes. Instead of blaming your past, what if you thanked your past? If you were to seriously take a look at that person or that situation or that challenge that you have gone through or are going through, I'm curious, what came out of it that's good? What good came out of it? Why is it actually a blessing in disguise? What did it create within you? Is it resourcefulness? Is it your independence? Is it a personality trait that you love? Is it your humor? Is it something, did you find your dream because of it? What's that thing in your life that you blame? And what did it actually create within you? Because there is something. There is something amazing about that situation. If you're in a negative state, you won't notice it. But I just had a beautiful experience with one of my one-on-one clients a couple months ago. She was sexually assaulted by multiple family members, raped by multiple family members, dead serious, not making this up. Raped by multiple family members, horrible situation that I would never wish on my worst enemy, right? And when she went through this process of finding a more empowering meaning to her pain, when we had to find the answer, which by the way, I'll teach you how to do in my program that I'll talk about at the end. But when we had to find the good in this, when we had to find, you want to know what she said? It was amazing. She said, it made me extremely strong in a way that I can survive anything. It gives me deep love and compassion for other people, especially women that have been through the same thing. It gives me powerful intuition and awareness of the intentions of other people that I surround myself with. Holy cow, talk about a life change. Do you think that her life trajectory is going to be way different from finding a more empowering meaning to what she went through? Yes. Absolutely. It is going to be completely different because she stopped blaming it for why she is where she is. Now, I'm not saying that you have to have trauma that you went through to do this. It could literally be missing a goal of Diamond or Success Club, right? But we need to use the pain of our past to create greatness because you don't control what happened. You cannot go back and change it, but you do control what it means to you. The meaning is entirely yours. There are 3 decisions that you are making on a second-to-second basis. 3 decisions that you are making on a second-to-second basis, whether you are conscious of this or not. Number 1 decision that you are making on a second-to-second basis is, what am I going to focus on? Am I going to focus on why it sucks, or am I going to focus on why it's great? Am I going to focus on what's going wrong, or am I going to focus on what's going right? Right? Whatever you focus on determines how you feel. So put that in your notes. Focus equals feeling. For example, have you ever noticed, how many of you guys are in a relationship or married? Okay, cool. Has your spouse ever gotten home late from work and you started to freak out? Like, where the hell is he, right? Well, your focus probably went to, he's in a ditch somewhere. And that felt very real, didn't it? It felt real. But if your focus in that moment went to, he's probably cheating on me with his boss, right? It would be a different feeling, still negative, but a different feeling, right? You want to kill him. You'd be angry, right? Like that's what you would feel like. But if you had the focus of, he's probably at the grocery store picking up something for our family right now, and I'm just so grateful that he's working extra hours to provide this extra income for us, or whatever it is. Different feeling associated with it, right? So whatever you focus on, you will feel, whether it is real or not. That's decision number 1. Decision number 2 is, what does this mean? What does this mean to me? So the example that I always give with that is that same example from earlier of a man opening a door for a woman, right? The meaning of the situation is different. If your spouse is quiet when they get home, right? Is it like, what's the meaning of that? Sometimes if you could take it to mean that they're pissed off at you, then you're going to feel it. But if you take it to mean they might have a hard day and need more love from you, totally different meaning, totally different direction. Okay, that's decision number 2. And decision number 3 is, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Those 3 decisions control your entire life. You ask those 3 questions on a second-to-second basis, whether you realize it or not. Every person does this on a regular basis, subconsciously or consciously. And just like Tony Robbins says, it's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. It's in your moments of decision that your destiny is shaped. So this one-on-one client of mine, sexually assaulted by multiple family members. Did she change what she focused on in that moment when we went through that exercise? Yes. Did she change what that situation meant to her? Yes. And did she change what she did? Absolutely. She created a great business. She's focusing on creating her dreams. She's actually deciding she wants to end a very toxic relationship. All these incredible things are happening in her life that would have never happened before, right? So you don't control what happened. You can't go back and change it, but you do control what it means to you. So let's use a less extreme example of conscious blaming in the example of my life that I shared with you earlier. So when it comes to blaming, it's actually a way of thanking the people that hurt you. So if my mom didn't steal almost 50 grand from me, I wouldn't be hungry for freedom. There's no way. There is no way I would have found entrepreneurship if money wasn't so tight before. There's no way. So I thank her for the freedom I have now. Do you think there's a different feeling associated with that? Absolutely. If my parents didn't scream and yell and fight and eventually get divorced after fighting every day of our childhood, there is no way I would be nearly as loving of a husband as I am to her. There's no way. There is no way. So I thank my parents' example or warning sign for the beauty I have in my relationship now. It's because of my parents that I can be so present with her. So I started thanking them for that because it taught me amazing lessons to create a great life. If love wasn't used as a weapon against me growing up, there is no way that I'd have so much empathy where I can literally see a challenge that someone says and see right through it to the core of what's actually going on. That wouldn't happen. I don't share that to impress you. It's just one of the gifts that I've been blessed with. If that didn't happen, there is no way that would be possible. There's no way. So I thank my mom for that situation. If my business didn't fail for 5 years, just epically failing over and over and over again, there is no way I would have learned what I needed to learn to create an amazing life, right? So I thank my business failures, right? So take an analysis. Do you see how that could change the trajectory of someone's life if they change what it means to them? Because you finally find the lesson that can be the key to your future happening, right? You finally find the lesson. So take an analysis. If you were to look at your life, what did your past actually create within you that's amazing? Because you can focus on why it sucked or you can focus on why it's great. That's totally up to you because what's wrong is always available, but so is what's right. My mommy issues were the best thing that ever happened to me because they created me. So what if the worst days of your life were secretly the best days of your life in disguise? What if your trauma has a gift inside of it to lead you to emotional freedom? Because those situations led to someone, something, an insight, some personality traits, something that's great. What if you adopt a belief tonight that life is always happening for you and not to you? Could you imagine how your life would be different if that was the belief that you adopted? What if you stopped making the situations you went through wrong and you made them perfectly right? Did they hurt to go through that? Yeah, they hurt really bad. Is it still painful? Probably, but it was never wrong. It was never wrong. So if you're going to blame someone for the reasons why you're stuck, you better thank them for the good stuff that came out of it too, because they were exactly who they needed to be. In fact, if they didn't play that role in your life, you wouldn't be who you are right now. So you can focus on why it's bad or why it's good. They were exactly who they needed to be. They played the role they were meant to play. My life changed when I decided that my mom was the best thing that ever happened to me. Her behaviors molded me, they sculpted me, they shaped me into the man that I am today. And I wouldn't be the man that I'm proud to be today without that pain that I went through in the past. So what if the person you blame played the exact role they were supposed to? What if they didn't do anything wrong in your creator's eyes? What if they played the role they were meant to play? It's true in your life, right? That person, that situation molded you, sculpted you, shaped you into who you are right now. And who you are right now has the ability to use that pain to impact the world. If you ever wonder why you don't connect with people in a deep, profound way on your social media, right? If you ever feel that way, it's because it's probably not getting deep enough. It's not getting real enough. What I always teach people is teach what you need to learn. If you struggle with confidence, I'm willing to bet that your ideal customer struggles with confidence too. So if you share how you struggle with confidence and what you're doing to overcome that, and you create resources for that, can you imagine how much trust would be built? If you shared with that type of empathy and awareness, can you imagine how much trust they'd have with you if they can finally feel that you went through something similar? Instead of it being like, hey, 3-day Shakeology challenge, it became a, hey, guys, I really struggle with confidence sometimes. I've learned some really cool things about how to break through that. I'm going to do a free 5-day group to help everyone learn what I've learned. Do you think that would connect with someone more? Yeah, on such a deeper level. Then trust is formed. Then when you invite someone, they actually believe in you. Can you imagine the community of hope that you would build from changing what the past means to you? How would every invite change? You identify who your target market is on such a deep level because you already know what their pain is and you already know what they want, so you can solve all their problems and you can flow through that mission. So my point in all of this, guys, is that you don't control what happens to you, but you do control how you respond to it. And that's not just about negative things that happen in the future that are coming up, like missing a goal. That's including things you've gone through in the past. Every part of your past is a message. It is a lesson. It is a gift that you can grow from. If you view your past that way, you can use it to change your future instead of being stuck there. Because life is going to continue to teach you the lessons that you need to learn to live the life that you're meant to live. Have you ever noticed that? Life keeps knocking on your head saying, dude, listen to me. And it gets louder and louder and louder. You ever notice that? That happens, doesn't it? The lessons will get louder and louder until you listen. So stop making where you are right now considered wrong. It is not wrong to be where you are right now. You're exactly where you need to be. You're exactly where you need to be to learn what you need to learn to live the life that you're meant to live. When you make where you are right now considered wrong, thinking you should be elsewhere, you are literally pushing away the growth and lesson that could teach you how to get further along. Abundance 101 is, I am so grateful for where I am in my life currently, and I'm so excited about what I'm going to create. That's abundance, right? You hear that term thrown around in my industry all the time. That's what abundance is. Scarcity is, I'm not okay with where I am. I should be somewhere else, but I'm afraid I'm never going to get there. That's what scarcity is, right? Believing that's not possible, believing in lack, right? So where you are right now is exactly where you need to be. It is not wrong. When you are grateful for it, that's where life changes. Seeing your current good is the fastest way to increase more good. This is why Shaun T always talks about in his workout programs, if you want to lose weight, you have to love your body where it is now. Because why would you hate the vessel that's the key to your freedom? It doesn't make sense. So find the blessing in what you went through. Change the meaning of it, and you change your stars, your future, your family forever. Because you are responsible for your future. No one else. You. No one's going to come and save you. No one. It's not, you can't go back and change what happened. And something you'll quickly learn by working with me, happiness is trainable. It is trainable. It is a learnable thing that you can instill into your life. It is not a byproduct of life events. It is not. It's something you condition into who you are. The biggest myth that I ever believed about my life was that business, success, and money would bring me happiness. It's not true. It's not true. Happiness creates those things. Happiness is trainable, but so is sadness. So is anxiety. So is depression. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't biochemical predispositions to those things. I'm not saying that some people don't have it harder than others. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that we train that to be a way out, don't we? We use that as an excuse, don't we? I can't invite people because I have too much anxiety, right? How many people have done, how many of you guys have done that? Be telling us. I used to do that, right? Like those emotions are trainable. We reinforce them. And even if we numb them, they still come out in our lives. How many people do you know that are on antidepressants that are still depressed? Right? The reason is, I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying antidepressants are wrong or bad. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we're not curing what's actually going on, the meaning of the emotions that we face. And I'll teach you guys how to do that. But happiness is trainable. Happiness is trainable, and so is sadness. And I will actually teach you guys how to actually choose your emotions at any point in time. It's so beautiful when you master this skill. I'll teach you how to forgive when you don't want to. I'll teach you how to instill this into who you are, but you need to understand the overall concept that happiness is trainable. It is. And the start of that is by adopting a new meaning to your pain, letting go of that victim approach and choosing the victor approach. The next year does not need to be the same as the last year, because biography is not destiny. If you smile about your past and take responsibility for your future and your emotional well-being, the game changes forever. Because when you're one of the very few that does, you find genuine abundance. You feel it. You live with emotional freedom. You'll find genuine happiness. And guess what? When you feel that way, business gets way easier. Business is 80, 90% psychology, 10 to 20% what you do. I've learned that the hard way in my life, guys. It's how you think and how you feel that matters most. You'll find emotional freedom. You'll feel alive again. And when you feel alive, guess what happens? Hey, what's that challenge group thing you're doing? Hey, what's that 5-day group you're doing? Hey, what's that coaching thing? People want to be part of your life when you feel amazing and feel happy on a regular basis. You got to rewrite the narrative to your life story. Please put this in your notes. It is never too late to have an amazing childhood. It is never too late to have an amazing past. You just have to change what the past means to you. It doesn't matter how much life has rained on your parade. So think about this. This is a metaphor I learned from the app Headspace that's so helpful. When it's stormy outside, it seems really gloomy, right? And the same is true with your emotions. When you feel negative emotions, it's like these storm clouds are all around us, right? And they consume us. Have you ever noticed that when negative emotions come up, it's all we focus on? And since focus equals feeling, that's what we feel. We obsess over it. Nod your head if when something negative happens, you kind of obsess over it a little bit, don't you? Right? We all do that. We obsess over the pain. And we forget what it's like to have a sunny sky, right? We forget that. We obsess over the storm. We forget the sun. But think about any time you have ever been in an airplane and taken off that runway, even when it's raining, by the way. Can't planes take off when it's raining? Absolutely. And anytime you've been in a plane and taken off, and that plane is elevated above those clouds, what happens? What always happens? It's always, always sunny. Always. So what if you elevate yourself? What if you, instead of being pounded by the storm of life, you elevate your life above the storm? You don't let one negative memory keep you on that runway. Because when you change the meaning, that's you taking off and you get above those clouds. When you're so caught up in whatever stress life is giving you, whatever storm life is giving you, obsessing over why it is so hard because it's storming and wishing so badly that it was sunny again and thinking it's like a lost cause, right? We're obsessing over the storm. It's really easy to forget that what we're looking for is literally already there. It's right above us right now. That sun is above us right now. All you need to do, it's not somewhere external, it's within you right now. All you gotta do is elevate yourself, change the meaning, take off, and elevate your life above those clouds. If you do that, that is raising the standard you have for yourself and taking responsibility for your life and your happiness. So let's apply this to business for a second. You guys are all in business. You want business takeaways. Let's apply this to business. So are you setting goals from a place of fear, from a place of lack, or a place of worry? Are you setting your goals that way? Or are you setting your goals based on the you that you want to become? Your life will change when you set goals based off of who you want to become instead of who you currently are. This is so important to understand. In fact, one of the main reasons why so many people stay stuck in business is because all of their focus and attention goes to why they're stuck instead of what they want. Have you ever noticed that? Why am I stuck? Why don't people say yes? Why do I get so many no's? What does that focus on? It focuses on the negative. That's what you will feel, right? Because focus equals feeling. When was the last time you spent your time, the majority of your time, focusing on your dreams? Everything will change if you do. It's time we stop using past experiences to determine what goals to set. It's time to stop looking at your failures for a reason why you can't. So if you raise that standard and demand more from yourself than anyone else ever could, your life will change. If you have weak goals that are set based off of what you think is realistic and safe, you are never going to have the life that you want. You're never going to have the life that you want. See, a lot of us have these expectations of our business set at a 100 out of 10. We want the Lexus to show up in our driveway. We want the financial freedom. We want all that stuff, right? You want that stuff, but we're operating our business from a state of fear, a negative 10 out of 10, right? So we want the 100, we have a negative 10 action, and so we always feel like we're behind in some way. The only way to achieve your big dreams is to set goals and actions based out of what you want. In fact, realism and pessimism are just fear. That's all it is. If you're trying to be realistic, or if you're even worse, pessimistic in some way, it means that you don't want to get hurt. That's all it means. So we need to stop setting our goals based off of past failures and start setting goals based on our dreams. So let me ask you this. In your honest opinion, is the goal of hitting diamond by the end of 2019 a goal set out of fear or a goal set out of massive dreams? Diamond, end of 2019, goal set out of fear or massive dreams? Type in the chat box. What do you think? Totally honest. There's no right or wrong answer, because how we're answering is what we think is true. So fear, dreams, fear, there's multiple answers here. But here's the thing. If you ask yourself in your heart right now, is that something that is truly a massive, massive, massive dream in your life to help 8 people change their life? Is that a true massive dream, or have we conditioned our dreams down to match our current view of reality? Because what sounds more exciting? I'd like to hit diamond by the end of the year, or you know what? It's my first year and we're a 2019 elite team earning enough money to take my team on a trip and reward them for all their hard work and pay off my college loans and all this stuff. What excites you more? We need a compelling future to fight for, guys. We need something to be pulled towards. The right goals is the perfect blend of holy cow, that is terrifying, and holy cow, that's exciting. So don't set goals based on your present circumstances. Set goals based on what you want. Quit trying to play it safe and be realistic. Realism is the fastest traveled road to mediocrity in life. Realism is the fastest traveled road to mediocrity in life. And so I'm not saying don't use facts. I'm saying stop playing it safe. Being against risk is the most risky thing you can do, because it leads to you staying in the same spot. So if you have a realist and an optimist, forget the pessimist because they already failed, right? The realist and the optimist going after a big goal, right? And the realist and the optimist are talking. The optimist goes, realist, what's your big goal? And the realist goes, I want to be at diamond by the end of the year. And the realist goes, what about you? And the optimist goes, I want to be elite by the end of this year. I'm going for it. And the realist goes, you know what? I don't think that's going to happen. Like, diamond's more of a safe goal. You can probably get there. Well, here's what happens. Both start off going for their goals. And the optimist going for elite totally messes it up, fails, falls on their face, doesn't know how to lead, has to learn all this stuff. And the realist hits their safe goal. The realist hits their safe goal. So the realist was right. The optimist is going to fail first. The optimist is going to fail harder. The optimist is going to be more hurt, right? The realist was right. But the optimist got up and did it again, didn't they? They said, okay, I can learn something from that. What can I learn and tweak? How can I grow? And they try again, and they try again, and they try again, and they eventually get to their dreams. And if they don't get to the exact goal they set in the beginning, aren't they way further along than that realist ever was? Way further along. So much further along in their dreams, because they decided to dream big. Raise your standards. Raise your standards. That's how you change your life. You raise your standards. You are earning the amount of money that you must earn right now, and not a penny more. That's what you're doing. You get your standards. Whatever is a must in your life is what you will get. And demand more from yourself than anyone else ever could. I'm not saying try to be a perfectionist. I'm saying go all out. If you set a goal based in fear, what do you look for? Do you look for why you can't or why you can? What do you look for? Right? And whatever you focus on, you feel. And if that's the feeling you have on a regular basis, focusing on why you're stuck, why you can't, and that feeling consumes you, doesn't that affect the energy behind your invites, behind the creativity in your Facebook posts, behind all your challenge groups, how you invite to coaching? Everything changes. You need to change your focus to your dreams. So how many of you guys were listening to that call that I did for like you said, it was Ashley a while back, where we talked about red versus blue? For those of you guys that don't remember this exercise, you guys remember that exercise? It's so important that for those of you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, that you go through this with me right now. If you ask yourself bad questions, you get really bad answers. If you ask yourself great questions, you get great answers, right? So a bad question would be, why am I stuck? Why am I so fat? Why can't I do this? Why don't I know enough people? Why is it so much easier for my upline? Why can't I do anything right? Those would be really negative questions, right? And they lead to negative answers. You find the answer, you feel that answer. But if you ask yourself a great question, why can I do this? Why am I more than enough? Why am I worthy? You get great answers. You get really great answers, don't you? You find the answer to those questions, right? And whatever you look for, you'll find. So don't cheat if you know this exercise. Look around the room you're in right now and count the number of things you can find that are red. Ready, go. Look for red. Count the things that are red. Look for red. Look for red, 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 look for red. Keep looking for red, look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red. Look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red, look for red. Count the things that are red, look for 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 red. Chris's shirt can count as red. All these little slashes can count as red. The Sharpie can count as red. Look for red, look for red, look for red. Hold up your hands or type in the chat box. How many things do you find that were red? What do we got? We got 10, 9, 12, 6, 8. Amazing. That's amazing, guys. But question, how many things do you find that were blue? No idea. Why? Because you weren't looking for blue. But try this out. Look around the room you're in right now and count the number of things you can find that are blue. This is going to blow your mind. Look for blue. Look for blue. Count the things that are blue. Why are you staring at me? Look for blue. 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 Keep looking for blue. Look 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 for blue. Count the things that are blue. Look for blue. Look for blue. Look for blue. Look for blue. Hold up your hands or type in the chat box. How many things you find that were blue? 15. 20, 24, all that beach body blue everywhere, right, guys? How many of you even saw green or teal, pretend it was blue, so you would feel successful with this exercise? You know who you are, right? What does this prove? When you focus on when you focus on one, you don't find the other, right? And when you focus on the other one, you don't find the first one. Well, negative question, positive question. Negative results, positive results. You focus on why you're stuck, you never find your dreams. You focus on your dreams, you quit looking for why you're stuck. And by the way, it's actually natural for you to find red, what you don't want. It's natural for you to do that. Have you ever noticed the natural default setting is kind of negative sometimes? What could go wrong? Why is that? Because your brain doesn't care if you hit your goals. It doesn't care. Your brain's primary job is to protect you from pain. It's a survival mechanism. That's its job. So it's always looking for what could go wrong. It's a survival mechanism. So unless you condition your mind to find blue, what you want, your dreams, you'll automatically find red. Does that make sense? We need to condition this into ourselves. I'll teach you how to do that in my program. But my point is that we need to condition this. And if you set a goal based out of blame, scarcity, sadness, fear, realism, it's just focusing on the negative, right? It's focusing on red. And just like Earl Nightingale said, the mind moves in the direction of your currently dominant thoughts. Well, if your currently dominant thoughts are, why are you stuck? You're going to be more stuck. So stop focusing on why you're stuck and start focusing on what you want. Please put this in your notes and understand this loud and clear. Circle it, highlight it. It is so important for you to understand. You are not broken and nobody needs to fix you. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. It's just our focus. Those 3 questions we talked about at the beginning, that's it. And that changes when you take 100% responsibility for your life. You take your control back. This is your life, not the people from your past. It is yours. So own it. The type of thing that destroyed you before does not need to destroy you anymore. The rest of the world is not going to sit around and wait for you to get your life together. It's not going to happen, but you can decide right now that you're going to take 100% responsibility for how your life goes from now on. For so many people, everything is someone else's fault, or everything can be explained away with some great reason why we can't make any changes to the situation, the outcome. But it's not true. Not you, not anymore, not tonight. You are going to use the pain of your past to create greatness. If you elevate above those clouds, how could you find the good? Why would your past be a great thing? How could you use it to inspire others? How would you share differently? How would you invite differently? You become a beacon of hope for those that can relate to your pain. And that's what I did with my life. I became a beacon of hope for people that feel stuck. I used my pain to help other people break through. You have pain that you can use for other people. So I want to take you through an exercise. This is similar to what I did on Ashley's call, but it is not the same thing. Similar, but not the same thing. So if you've done this with me before, it's actually different. But we're going to use a beautiful skill of gratitude to help us find what we need to let go of. Because think about this. When we get so caught up in our head about these negative situations in our life, we don't know how to break free from what's holding us there. We overthink it. Like we overthink our mind. And an imagination that's undirected is a recipe for misery, right? It's just going to end. You're going to wind up in a spot where you just feel negative all the time. We overthink. We don't know how to change the meaning. We don't know what to let go of. But what I learned from my mentor, Tony Robbins, is that you can change how you feel in a matter of moments. In a matter of moments. It does not need to take a long time. So many people see their emotions as a virus that needs to run its course. Then maybe you can feel good again. But emotions are something that you literally control. So I want to take you through an exercise to prove this to you. And you'll see firsthand why this is. And we're going to use it to create some changes that I'm not going to tell you about yet, but it's going to be really powerful. So start to think of that person or situation that you blame for why your life is the way it is. Think of that person, that situation, that event, that challenge, that thing that you failed at. Maybe it's a money issue. Maybe it's a spousal issue. Maybe it's a sexual assault. Maybe it's a past challenge on your record. Whatever it is, think of that situation for you, whatever it is. And put yourself in that state of just being so frustrated by it. Just so in pain because you can't break through it. It's a negative thing. Like it's almost like that sarcastic humor comes out, that self-deprecating humor comes out sometimes. You kind of laugh about the situation maybe, or you just kind of feel hopeless in some way, shape, or form. Think of that situation. Everyone got your situation or person that you blame or have that anger or whatever it is? Got yours? Raise your hand just so I know I'm not crazy. Everyone got theirs? Okay, cool. Shake your body out. Close your eyes. Sit up nice and tall. You don't need to understand this exercise. Just trust me. Just trust me, this play all out here, it can change your life. So take a deep breath in your nose and exhale out your mouth. Another one, really big deep breath in your nose and exhale out your mouth. And take both your hands and physically put them on your heart. Physically put them there and leave them there the rest of the exercise and physically feel your heart. And as you breathe, breathe deep into your heart. Feel the power of your heart for a moment. Feel it beating in your chest right now. Your heart beats 100,000 times a day without you having to do anything for it. As long as it beats, you live. It is a gift. You didn't need to buy this heart. You didn't need to earn it. Something thought enough of you to give you this amazing gift of life the moment you were born. You have inherent worth to create the life that you want because this heart is beating in your chest right now when it's not beating for some other people. So take a moment and breathe in the gratitude that you feel just for having this thing called life, for having the ability to solve these problems. Take that all in. Breathe that into your heart right now, feeling so grateful. Actually breathe it in through your nose. Feel it go through your heart and back out your mouth. Actually just breathe through your heart the rest of this exercise and feel so grateful for your heart beating in your chest. And now I want you to go back to the best memory of your life, or just one of them. What's one of the best memories of your life? You don't need to pick the top one, just an amazing one. Is it when you said, I do? Is it when you had your first baby? What's that moment for you? Go back to that moment, but instead of seeing that moment from the outside, go back and relive it. Relive that moment right now. See what you saw. Hear what you heard, feel what you felt then now, like it's happening right in front of you, feeling so grateful, and breathe that amazing memory into your heart, just feeling so grateful and so happy that you got to go through that. Breathe that in right now, feeling so grateful. And now go to a second memory. What's another memory in your life that you treasure, that you cherish? Something beautiful that happened in your life. What's that memory for you? Go back and see that memory all over again. Not just from the outside though, relive it. See what you saw in the moment, first person, breathing the same way you did then, hearing the same words you heard then, saying the same things you said then, reliving that moment, taking it all in, feeling so grateful, so appreciative, so happy that that memory is part of your life. That happiness is within you right now. Take that in and breathe it into your heart, feeling so grateful. And now go to a coincidence. What's a coincidence in your life? Something in your life that you weren't expecting. You didn't make it happen, but it was placed in front of you. It happened. You got a message on Facebook, and now you're building your dreams. You didn't mean to get pregnant. Now you have an amazing family. What's that moment for you? Is it when you met your spouse? What's that coincidence you weren't expecting? And think of everything in your life that it led to that's beautiful. Why is your life so amazing? Because of that beautiful coincidence that you weren't expecting, but it happened. It was placed in front of you. Take that in and breathe it into your heart right now. Was that actually a coincidence, or were you being guided the entire time? Because it is so beautiful when you adopt a belief that life is always happening for you and not to you. Even the problems, even the pain, it's a gift. Because it leads to something beautiful, a more elevated version of you. Something amazing happened because of those situations you face. So take all these memories and breathe them into your heart right now, feeling so grateful. Let them stack on top of each other. Feel that first memory. Feel that second memory, that coincidence all over again, feeling so grateful, so happy, so alive, so appreciative, and try to triple the amount of gratitude you have for this amazing gift of life, feeling your heart beating in your chest right now 100,000 times a day, even when you sleep. Take that gratitude in and just start to well your body up with it. Actually imagine energy circulating through your body right now. Whatever that means to you, just let that energy circulate through you right now, feeling so grateful, so happy, so alive, so appreciative, spreading in every single direction. Triple that amount of gratitude and appreciation again, and just say thank you. Just appreciate this amazing gift of life for a moment. Take it all in, feel it, and appreciate it, and love it, and breathe that gratitude into your heart right now. And now, from this beautiful state, from your heart, not your head, from your heart, in this beautiful state of gratitude, feeling so happy, so alive, go back to that person or situation that you blame, that situation that used to control you, that situation that had carried so much weight, and from your heart, ask your heart to complete the following sentence. This situation I went through that I blame was such a beautiful thing in my life because blank. This situation that I blame was such an amazing gift in my life because it led me to blank. I wouldn't be me without this painful situation, this painful memory. This painful situation is one of the best things that ever happened to me because it led me to blank. And ask your heart for the answer. Ask your heart for a new, empowering meaning to your pain. Ask your heart to find that. Go to it, find it, and love it. And when you feel it and you have some sort of guidance to what that is, go ahead and open your eyes and come back on camera and be present here again. How many of you found some sort of direction? Some sort of direction of what you need to let go of. Some sort of direction of why your pain is a good thing. And if so, type yes in the chat box or hold up your hand. How many of you felt something real? And if you didn't feel something real, by the way, if you didn't, go back when no one else is around. Do this when no one else is here and there's no distractions, because it's so powerful, isn't it? Your heart already knows the answer, which makes success easier. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that they'll be happy when they get to the next level in business or life, and that is not true. Some people even say that they could be happy if it wasn't for the situation they went through. But that's not true either. Happiness is trainable. Happiness is trainable, and success will not happen until you learn how to be happy. Achievement, sure, you could get lucky sometimes, but you're still not going to be happy if you're not truly happy before you achieve it. Most people think it's the other way around. Most people think that if they could just change the past, they'd be happy. Or if they could get to the next goal, they'd be happy. Business and success and money don't create happiness. Happiness creates success, and happiness is trainable. You took the first step in learning how to do that today. But can you imagine how the world would change if this wasn't another team call, like I talked about in the beginning, that you listen to, get excited about for a couple days, and then go back to the way things were? How would everything be different if you learned how to genuinely be happy on a regular basis? How could that change every part of your life, not just your business, but every part of your life? If that's something that you feel could truly benefit your life in some way, shape, or form, if it's okay with you, I'd love to share just for 2 minutes about an opportunity that I have for you guys to learn how to take this level of learning to a whole new level. We barely scratched the surface. Barely. We barely got into it. I know that there's someone on this team, a couple people on this team from Appreciation Academy that can talk about this. But if you've ever been pushing so hard for a goal, and it seems like it's getting further and further away, or it seems easier for other people, and you don't know why it's happening for some, but not you, and you have all the trainings on the business tools, right? Those aren't foreign to you, you have them, but you don't know why it's still not working for you. And even when you do achieve your goals in some way, you're still not fulfilled in the way that you want. Even if you achieve that to-do list, it still feels empty in some way. Some days you crush it. Some days you can't get yourself to do it, or you can't figure out what is stopping you from having success, but more importantly, happiness. I've created a program that will break you through all of it, and I mean all of it. There are 500 Beachbody coaches in this program. Guys, the reason you feel stuck is inner conflict. That's it. It's inner conflict that needs to be resolved. Negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, lack of worth, people you need to forgive. All of those things keeping you stuck in the same spot. You hear the cliche all the time, change your thinking, change your life. Appreciation Academy teaches you how to change your thinking, how to attract success instead of repel it. And because your leader is incredible, we've arranged a 50% off discount for you guys. A 50% off discount on this program for the payment plan and full pay option if this is what you're interested in doing. No pressure whatsoever. But by the way, guys, if things are tight, that's exactly why you have to invest in your growth, because you cannot change your life from the mindset that got you to where you are now. And that's why I have a 90-day guarantee on this program. You guys know who Jen Richardson is, 15-star Diamond Coach Million Club member? She says, and I quote, Appreciation Academy is the missing link that every Beachbody coach needs to finally see success in your business. Do you guys know who Micah Folsom is? Double 15-star Diamond Coach. She says, and I quote, if you're doing all the things and you're still not successful, or if you're successful and you're still not happy, you absolutely must do Brad's program. I can go on and on with testimonials. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to impress upon you. This is so much deeper than business. It rips away the layers of pain, preventing you from being who you're meant to be. It's not a business training. This isn't something that teaches you how to hit Success Club or how to hit Diamond. It's something that teaches you how to be happy. Because those courses or those trainings on Success Club and all that stuff won't work until you master this. This gets to the core of what stops you, how to finally believe in yourself, how to silence your inner demons, and how to live every day with an actual smile on your face, and I will not disappear on you. Just like we talked about, business, success, and money do not create happiness. Happiness creates those things. And this is the only course I have ever seen that actually teaches you how to be happy. It's how I went from stuck to where I am now, and it's 7 years of growth packed together so you don't need to wait that long. And the results of the hundreds of people that have gone through this speak for themselves. So if you felt something real, guys, if you know that there's another layer, if you felt something emotional, something that just caught your soul tonight, I highly encourage you to enroll in Appreciation Academy. It's time to make those things happen that you truly want in your life. Dream big again and actually believe you can do it. This is how I got unstuck, and it will work for you too. So if you like that discounted rate for this program, if you'd like to learn more about the program, the pricing, all the details, all you got to do is head to bradbizjack.com/teamcall. Again, bradbizjack.com/team call. Mary's going to post all the details in your team page right after this call. There's a little opt-in page there that helps me keep track of which team a coach comes from because I do a lot of these calls. But again, that's bradbizjack.com/team call. And either way, guys, I know I went over my time tonight, but I just want to say thank you so much for being here, for playing all out. I hope you got a lot out of this. I hope that you feel that this is real, something deep, and something that can change your life. And I hope to see you guys in Appreciation Academy. So, Mary, I will turn it back to you.
Thank you so much, Brad. I just feel like I need to listen to this call like 3 more times to just dissect everything that you had to say. And I think that we can all relate in some way, especially with, our mindset being what holds us back from really like pushing. I love the analogy that you gave of just like, is Diamond by the end of the year a fear or like a big dream? And I do think I know I'm guilty of this all the time, of setting goals that are like just a little bit overshoot, like, oh, I can probably get there. It's really not like something that really makes me scared and want to work. And I think we're all guilty of that, like wanting to not fail. But I also loved what you said about just like just what your whole topic was, using the pain of your past, and how you said, it doesn't just have to be this traumatic event. It could be just anything that is a pain point in your past. And as a new coach, I would hear on the National Wake Up Call or listening to trainings, just these coaches that had these incredible like redemption stories of like a hugely painful past, and I didn't feel like I ever could relate, or I didn't feel like, I came out of abuse or whatever. I just didn't really, it took me a really long time to find my story. And it wasn't until I got real with what my story really was and what, like who I guess, like my own pain points of just how I viewed food, or the things that I was putting my body through before I had a mindset shift towards food, that really I began to have a story. And so anyway, all that to say, thank you so much for being on this call. I think you were speaking right to the heart of a lot of us. And I hope, y'all, I will post details of the Academy for you guys in our team page, and hopefully y'all will join me in there. I know Leanne has also been through the Academy too. And I know a lot of other coaches have as well. So I'll post those details, and thank you so much, Brad.